The social dominance hierarchy is amoral. You find good alphas and you find bad ones. You get well-meaning gammas, but you also get spiteful, vicious ones. Similarly, you'll come across saintly sigma males who dedicate their lives to uplifting humanity. But you'll also come across some demonic sigmas, nasty pieces of work who wreck and destroy the people around them. In this video, we'll look at the darker side of sigma nature. Here are 9 evil sigma male villains. Number 9. Joker from the Dark Knight. Sadists are people who love causing pain. When a normal man hurts somebody, he feels guilt and remorse. But when a sadistic man hurts somebody, he actually enjoys it. Joker is a pure sadist. Unlike some villains, Joker doesn't care about money or power. For example, in The Dark Knight, he takes $85 million in cash and sets it on fire while laughing. Joker also vows to kill innocent people unless Batman reveals his true identity. When Batman refuses, Joker makes snuff videos of the killings, and in these disturbing videos we can hear him laughing hysterically as he tortures his victims. Clearly, Joker only cares about one thing, his own sick amusement. Evil sigma males are often sadists. If you encounter a sadistic sigma, his hatred of other people will shock you. Although he will hide it, if you watch him closely, you'll realize that he thinks everybody is inferior to him. He finds it funny to torment them. It's a game for him. And the Joker embodies this twisted attitude. Number 8. Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal has an astronomically high IQ bordering on genius. He occupies a high position in society as a well-respected forensic psychiatrist. And he's a man of culture. He loves art, literature, and gourmet food. He also socializes with academics and other brilliant, accomplished people. They all agree that Hannibal is highly intelligent. But instead of using his IQ to benefit society, Hannibal uses it to cover up his cannibalism. Watch how he manipulates people with ease, always remaining 10 steps ahead of everybody, even top detectives. For example, he invites his elite, upper-class colleagues to his dinner parties, but without them knowing, Hannibal mixes his victims into the gourmet dishes that he prepares. Without knowing it, these members of high society are in fact consuming human flesh. Throughout the story, Hannibal outsmarts the police and investigators, and using a devious strategy, he manages to escape from a high-security holding cell. His crimes would be impossible without his powerful intellect. An evil sigma has this quality of evil genius. People find his strategic ability frustrating because he outmaneuvers them like a chess grandmaster. Number 7. Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden is a subversive. He wants to destroy mainstream society. He'd prefer to live in a state of anarchy and chaos. In particular, he hates consumerism with all his heart, and he finds modern consumeristic culture to be unnatural and inhuman. We also see his subversive nature in his attitude towards work. He hates working a normal job in an office. Instead, Tyler works weird night jobs where he blackmails his employers. He also makes soap from human fat that he finds behind liposuction clinics. He either uses the fat to make soap or else he uses it to make explosives. But Tyler's also a leader. He gathers a large group of followers who risk their lives for his vision. Tyler encourages them to fight each other, blow up buildings, and set fires. Everything he does is subversive. An evil sigma male corrupts every group he enters. He overturns family traditions. He's a bad influence on friends. He subverts the hierarchy of his workplace. He's a corrupter, and Tyler Durden is an excellent example. Number 6. Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko personifies greed. In the film Wall Street, he gives a speech to his employees arguing that greed is good and that it's a moral virtue. He encourages his subordinates to become greedy. He wants them to hoard wealth, sex, and power. He claims that greed is the essence of human evolution and that it causes society to progress. Gordon Gekko is also a cutthroat. He says that if you need a friend, get a dog. He sees the world as a ruthless place where every man fights for victory. In his mind, it isn't enough that he should win. Others have to lose. Gordon believes in zero-sum competition. In other words, he has a winner-takes-all mentality. And an evil sigma male is often a greedy man. He will hoard the good things for himself, having no moral qualms about kneecapping his rivals. In fact, if you show compassion or generosity to your fellow man, an evil Sigma will think you're an idiot or a sucker. He has a dark and cynical view of life, and, like Gordon Gekko, he thinks the strong should exploit the weak. Number 5. Patrick Bateman. Patrick Bateman is so twisted that he hardly even considers himself to be human. When he looks inside and tries to pinpoint his true self, all he finds is a weird abstraction. While he knows that he has a body, he thinks his personality is an illusion. There's a massive gap between his public persona and his private life. To the outside world, he presents himself as an upper-class Manhattan socialite. Obsessed with aesthetics, he has vigorous exercise and grooming routines. He wears trendy clothes and collects popular music. But behind closed doors, he's a drug addict, a killer, and a rapist. Patrick Bateman is also a psychopath. He has no identifiable emotions except greed and disgust. He pretends to be a liberal, sprouting the doctrines of equality, feminism, and anti-racism. But in fact, he hates those beliefs. He doesn't even have beliefs. He just says whatever is expedient. Evil Sigmas create an abyss between the mask they wear in public and the real self that comes out in private. They're often sociopaths, holding strange esoteric views like Patrick Bateman. They pretend to be charitable and generous people, when in reality, they are predators who only care about self-gratification. And the Patrick Bateman character perfectly captures this twisted mindset. Number 4. Gustavo Gus Fring. Gus Fring, also known as the Chicken Man, is both a ruthless drug dealer and the owner of a chicken restaurant franchise. Gus is an incredible liar. He creates and maintains an impeccable public image. Pretending to be a philanthropist, he holds fundraisers for charity and donates money to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Of course, in reality, he commands an enormous drug empire, and has even killed his rivals in cold blood. Nobody knows much about his past. All his personal details are pretty sketchy. He has covered his tracks, changed names, and hidden his secrets. And the evil Sigma is also an incredible liar. Like Gus Fring, he will often hide in plain sight, cultivating a virtuous image so that people don't suspect his real motives. This type of Sigma would find it funny to donate money to the police while being a drug dealer. They're often shameless hypocrites, like a religious leader who pretends to be a saint while living a life full of sex, drugs, and violence. Number 3. Vincent from Collateral. Vincent is not only a professional hitman, but is also a nihilist and a misanthrope. He's a cold-blooded killer and rationalizes his evil behavior using bizarre philosophical arguments. For example, he emphasizes the massive size of the universe. He says that in the grand scheme, the Earth is just a tiny dot, and his conclusion is that human beings are insignificant. And because billions of insignificant humans live on the planet, he thinks it doesn't matter if he kills a few of them. He hates humanity. He focuses on the Rwandan genocide and uses it to justify his hatred of people. He looks at Los Angeles and points out the inequality, using it as a reason to kill his victims. And an evil Sigma male is often a misanthrope who uses nihilistic philosophy to justify his hatred. He dwells on all the negative aspects of human nature and convinces himself that people are worthless. This philosophy infects his mind and makes him behave in vicious or deceitful ways. Vincent represents the logical conclusion of these beliefs. Number 2. Daniel Plainview. Daniel Plainview is an oil baron who understands every facet of the industry. He had to be ruthless to rise to his position, and in the movie, his sense of right and wrong has vanished. He lives only to accumulate wealth and power. He also hates people, using them and discarding them like trash. He has no qualms about lying, and if you challenge him, he flies into a fit of rage. In the modern world, you'll find evil Sigmas who resemble Daniel Plainview. They embody the worst aspects of capitalism, pursuing wealth and power at all costs. If it's in their best interest, these type of Sigmas will betray their business partners and employees. Many modern CEOs fit this description. And the oil business is an excellent metaphor for this personality type because an oil company exploits the earth. representing how an evil Sigma male will exploit his environment, mining it for everything it's worth. Now, before we move on to the final Sigma male villain, don't forget to leave this video a quick like. It helps our channel to grow and allows us to keep creating content like this. So let's move on to the number 1 evil Sigma male villain. Number 1. Thanos. We know that Thanos is a Sigma male. On the one hand, he's an introvert who rarely socializes in groups, but on the other hand, he's a powerful leader whose actions have a massive impact on the world. Thanos is also a depopulationist. He represents the worst aspects of rational thinking, the type of logic used by eugenicists and dictators. His logic is simple. We have limited resources on Earth, but way too many people. In order to survive, we must kill half the population. In Thanos' mind, he's a hero. He sees himself as a savior who makes the tough decisions that nobody else wants to make. The evil Sigma uses similar types of twisted logic. Sigmas have powerful analytical minds, so they can rationalize anything, no matter how bizarre. Evil Sigmas convince themselves that they are the good guys. Look at history and you'll find an endless list of examples of evil people who thought they were righteous. Certain cultures even practice child sacrifice in the name of the gods. Thanos represents this type of deluded logic. Now, we hope this video shines some light onto the darker side of Sigma nature, captured so well in literature and film. Not all Sigma males are moral people, and not all Sigmas are role models. And if you think you are dealing with an evil Sigma, it's best to run in the opposite direction.